today's video, we're going to first compare yìdiàn and yǒuyìdiǎn, and then we're going to compare gāngcái and gāng. This one we actually did before. We did a comparison when we were learning, I believe it was when we were learning yǒuyìdiǎn. We compared it to yìdiàn. That was in HSK 2. But this is a worthy little review. Remember, yǒuyìdiǎn can also be yǒuyìdiǎn. You can have a little e, meaning one, in there as well. And both of these can have an R at the end of dian. So this can be yìdiàn or yìdiǎn, and this could be yǒuyìdiǎn or yǒuyìdiǎn or yǒuyìdiǎn. Okay, so and then also when they don't begin a phrase, like when it's tucked in between something or at the end of a sentence, this can be the e can be dropped actually, and it's just dian. You've probably seen me share examples like that, like I think yesterday I just said 再吃点, eat a little bit more. Okay, so this means they both can mean a little, and that's the hard part. When yìdiàn comes before a noun, like 一点水, a little bit of water, or 一点东西, a little thing, a bit of a thing, like 多吃吃一点东西, eat a little something. That would be how you say that. Then it means a little of that noun. If it's after adjectives like 今天冷点儿, 今天冷一点, that means if it's after an adjective, then it's comparative, or sometimes it's used to make a request. Like 老板, this is from Allset Learning. 老板便宜点吧. Boss, or in this case, 老板 would be someone selling something. 老板, it's the boss of a shop. 老板 cheap a little ba. Can you make it a little bit cheaper? So it's kind of like, it's still comparative, but it's making a request. But so if yìdiàn comes after an adjective, it's compared to something else, either before or side by side. It's a comparison. And then we just learned, I think, in last week that not even yìdiàn can be used to say not even a little bit. Like 一点也没有. I don't have even a little. Or 我一点都不饿. I'm not even a little hungry. 我一点都不饿. So that's yìdiàn. Yǒuyìdiǎn, if it's before an adjective, I didn't write adjective here, it means it's usually complaining, like something's negative, and saying a bit too. Like 今天有点冷. Today it's a bit cold. 今天有点冷. So notice I just gave an example about 今天冷点. Today 冷一点. That means today it's a bit colder. So it's not a complaint. It's not saying whether I like it or not. It's just making a statement of comparing to before. 今天冷点. But if I say 今天有点冷, that means that today it's too cold. It's a bit too cold for me. Also, Allset Learning pointed out that yǒuyìdiàn can be placed before some negated verbs, like mostly psychological verbs, like say like, or so not like. So you can put yǒuyìdiàn, or this example is great. 孩子们有点不喜欢我们的新家. That's from Allset Learning. It means the children 有点不喜欢, a little don't like. 有点不喜欢我们的新家, our new home. So again, it's still expressing something negative. This phrase is usually used when it's before adjectives, or in this sense, or in this case, psychological verbs, negated psychological verbs. It's expressing a negative idea most of the time. So it's saying that the children a little bit don't like 有点不喜欢 our new home. Or also from Allset Learning, 我们有点没听懂. 我们有点没听懂. 我们 we 有点 a bit 没听懂 did not understand. So that's just interesting to me. It's kind of like this was like a new idea for me as I was putting this together, that you can use this before certain psychological verbs. I just wouldn't have guessed that. And then finally, yǒuyìdiǎn can literally mean to have a little, where it doesn't have this like put it before an adjective to mean a bit too idea. It just means have a little. And so that's important to point out because these two words can show up together when it doesn't mean that at all. It simply means have this, right? You get it? Have a little of something. And so there it is. We have yìdiàn and yǒuyìdiǎn side by side. And now it should all be clear. Hey, in this part, we're going to take a look at gāngcái and gāng. And this comparison is a little bit difficult for two reasons. One is that I did a video on gāngcái, and I mentioned gāng, but I've never actually taught directly on gāng. So some of what I'm going to be sharing is actually new. And then the other little piece is there's some parts of the difference between these two that I don't actually fully understand, that I'm still learning. And while I've come a long way, in fact, making this and preparing this video and then thinking about it afterwards and kind of mulling over it has helped me have a little bit of a aha feeling about the difference. Before, I really didn't know the difference between gāngcái and gāng very much. And they both can be translated just, as in just now or just very short time ago. But they actually are fairly different. And so now that I understand that, I can share more of it. But there's one factor in their difference that I don't fully get. But I've come a long way. So here we go. Gāngcái is what we learned before. It is a time word. Exactly like any other time word, like yesterday, 昨天, tomorrow, 明天, or last year. It just happens to be talking about a time that was just before now. So it's talking about that moment in time or that short section of time. Just like you'd say, 我昨天吃面了. I ate noodles yesterday.我刚才吃面了. I just ate noodles. And then because it's a time word in the past, when you're talking about a completed action, you usually use le. So gāngcái and le are often paired together most of the time because something just happened and it's over now. And then another thing to point out is that gāngcái really means not long ago in an objective sense. Like maybe a minute ago, maybe 2 seconds ago, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, but not long ago, objectively not long ago, just now. Now let's compare some of this to gāng. And gāng is an adverb that must go right before the verb, and it isn't paired with le, and that's actually the thing that the mistake I commonly made, and I still don't fully understand why, but I think I get it. That it's the reason is the point isn't that there's a completed action. The point is it's stressing how the action happened, sort of how, like it's sort of like stressing it wasn't long ago idea, emphasizing not that it happened, but when it happened. Where this, with the gāngcái, something happened, le. It's over with, it's happened. Where this maybe, well, I think it still would be over, but it's not emphasizing the completed action is the main point. Now here's another thing that's very important is that gāng is not usually used with le. You don't pair it with le, which is often like we want to, because we think that's, it's past tense or whatever, it goes with le. Anyway, it doesn't mean that it has to be objectively a very short time ago. It just means that it feels like to the person that it hasn't been a long time. And so it could have been a year ago. If you say, if I'm talking about the past and I want to say, 我刚到中国的时候，我不会说中文. When I just got to China, when I had just got to China, or when I hadn't been in China for a long time, I couldn't speak Chinese. Now that, when I wasn't there, you could say, 我刚到一年, I'd only been there a year. I'd just gotten there a year ago. 我刚到一年, 我不会说中文. I wasn't able, so does that make sense? So it could have been talking about a year ago, but it felt like to the speaker looking at the situation that it just occurred or just happened. And then a couple other things. Gāng can precede an adjective to mean that something just like let me give an example here. 天刚晴 and 牛肉刚热. 天刚晴 means the sky just cleared up. 牛肉刚热, the beef just got, shu, just got done, not re, shu. I was looking at it wrong. They're similar looking characters. Shu means to get done, to be finished cooking. And then lastly, gāng can be doubled to kind of emphasize the gāngness of it. So just gāngcái. If you can say gāngcái hao, is just good. That's another thing too about gāng, is it has another meaning that's a little bit different. It does mean just in a sense, but it's like, if you put it with hao, especially gāngcái hao, it can mean like, for example, I remember when I was in Chinese class years ago, the teacher barked at a student who came in and said, you're late. And the student glanced at the clock and said, 刚刚好. And that means that it's right on the dot, like it's right on. And so you can also say, 正好 is a different way to say that. But gāngcái cannot be used that way at all. So that has, it's not about the timing at all. It is about timing, but it has the idea of like right on the dot. Just so. And so that it can be used that way too. All right. Let me give a couple examples. So this is from All Set Learning using gāngcái. 他刚才哭了. He just cried. So when you say 他刚才哭了, because of the gāngcái and the le, it indicates that, even though it doesn't say it explicitly, it indicates that he is no longer crying. 他刚才哭了, but he's not anymore. 我刚才看到他了. I just saw him, but he's not here anymore. Does that make sense? That gāngcái and le combo has like something happened, it's completed, he's probably not here anymore. Sounds like he's not here. Where gāng doesn't necessarily have that. If you say 我刚到, I just got here. Well, I'm still here. The point is that I'm just here. It's not that I got here like exactly when. I don't know if I can describe that. You can also say 我刚才到了. But that has to do with saying I arrived just now, as opposed to I just got here. So there's just a little bit of emphasis difference there. And I'm not sure if I can go any further than that. It's about the extent of my understanding. But these things here that I'm describing are a good start. And there are times when gāng plus verb is going to fit better because you're emphasizing it just the shortness of time, where gāngcái is saying it happened. This is when it happened. Just now, as opposed to yesterday. It's just now. Where gāng is more emphasizing just happened. Or it's just, So anyway, that's about it all as far as I can go. I hope that makes sense. And we'll see you in the next video. You're doing awesome. Keep up the good work.